Coach Rick Cabrera, 70-57 win against Texas A&M-Commerce. And, Coach, we stood here about 48 hours ago, and you said one of the biggest things your team had to learn to do was learn how to answer runs. You had the big one early. They had the big one in the middle, actually took the lead after being down by 20. Your team responded pretty much like that. What was behind that?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say we haven't been here before. So, maybe, in the timeouts, I was not a happy camper. I was not positive. I could say that here. And they, so I have a staple. I said you have to defend in fear. On offense, you play freely. And they defended in fear. They defended like it was the last possession they were going to play. I told myself I'm not going to be drawing up plays in timeouts. You just have to get stops. And and they wound up getting stops after they made their run, and I'm extremely proud of those guys.
Key in that, at least, probably for about the 6-minute mark on, Kalen Williams got going for them middle of the second half. Chase Forte gets to him in those last couple of possessions. It looked like he was as locked in defensively as we've seen him in a long time. And we know how good he can play defense. He showed it that last stretch. I know he had a rough start to it, but came around at the end.
No, I'm going to look in his screen and say Chase Forte is the best on-ball defender in this league. It's not even close. He did a phenomenal job. And, I tell him, like there's times he drives me crazy with some of the things he does, but I expect more from him. And he understands that. Him and I have a relationship that he understands. But sometimes you got to live. I said, guys, if you're going to make mistakes, because there's going to be mistakes out there, but you got to make mistakes with effort and intelligence. And sometimes he gambles a little bit, thinks he can get it, and it comes back to bite us. But he was a dog. He played extremely well, and I think he led us to victory.
Justin Wilson, a lot of pop as usual from him, but the numbers are good. But the effort he gives and the big moments he was in the middle, whether it was a rebound or a nice feed from Braylon, going to the line, and the line has not been kind to him. He hit some big free throws today, in addition to what he does pretty much every game.
I got 9+ games with Justin from here on out. I'm gonna enjoy my time with him because, like he's a kid I'm gonna truly miss. He defines being a leader. And we had to get the ball to him because when we did, positive things happened. And he's been, since conference play has started, he has been playing with a confidence that, is on another level. So why stop? I need him to continue being the lone senior here, to continue to lead us to victories. And when bad things happen, to continue to be a leader in that locker room and help those guys stay together.
So we talked about Chase on the defensive end. You can help us see on the offensive end as well. I mean, he just pretty much can command anything that he wants. And then obviously I know everyone's screaming at him, to give him the ball, but at the same time he's like, let me show you really quick.
Hey, listen, there's times us coaches, we don't know everything. It's the hypocrisy of coaching. We think we do, but we don't. But we know what's the best that can come out of him. Sometimes on the offensive end, we got to allow him to play a little free. And sometimes it's like, hey, that probably wasn't the best shot for you at that moment. But Chase is a phenomenal player. I would never recruit him if I didn't think he was. If he cuts down certain things, I think he could take his game to another level. So I'm proud that he led us to a victory along with the other guys, but he was kind of the staple that led the charge.
So the last few weeks, obviously, there's been frustration about the outcomes and what's happened. Do you feel as though there is that positive outcome now that you can kind of breathe a little bit?
Absolutely. I hate to say it, losing brings out the worst in people and winning brings out the best. But one thing about this team, as much losing as we have, endured, we have always stayed together. I tell my staff, I said, I'm the only one not allowed to be negative. You guys keep those guys positive, and then I have a balance of when I'm positive. And those guys have stayed together through it was a bad storm. It was an what they call it, an F5, all right? But we sustained through it. Our house was blown down, but you know what? We looked around, we got some new wood, some new bricks, and we built a new house, and now we're in the middle of the pack in the conference.
So the second half, you can kind of see, they got down on themselves a little bit, obviously, because of the run that Commerce made. But how did you kind of, build them back up a little bit? Obviously, I know you were frustrated, but.
Yeah, I'll be honest. You know, like, I mean, I told them, well, I'll say this. I was not completely negative in timeouts. I told them, I said, fellas, you know, I don't know if you guys watch boxing, but you got to treat it like a 12-round heavyweight bout. You got knocked down, and it was a 9 count, and that referee was about to end it. But you know what? As soon as they got to 9, you guys were up, you know, and you battled back, and you wound up winning the fight. So I'm proud of those guys. You know, like I always say, an ugly win is better than a pretty loss, and you know, and that was kind of ugly, at least towards the end. Yeah, but we bounced back and obviously won.
So obviously, I feel like the belief wasn't there as much whenever you started conference at times, but now the belief is there that they can actually finish the game. It's just building the confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I give a lot of teams credit in this league. This is a good league. You know, like I've been at this level for 13 years. I was at the Sun Belt for 2, which is a little bit higher, but this is a very balanced league, right? But a lot of our mistakes, and I'm going to say this, have been self-inflicted against the McNeeses, against the Corpuses, against any team we've played that we didn't win. It has been self-inflicted. Some of it has been the other team. I'm going to give them their flowers. But when you watch film, you say, gosh, if we could just fix this. I put a lot of pressure on my coaches. I said, guys, this is our job. We get paid to help fix these guys. So let's fix them. Let's get them right. And, you know, and so far we've done that. We could have, you know, I mean, after the 3-game losing streak, you know, I told the guys, stop losing home games. Stop. This team played Wednesday. We didn't. We have the fresh legs. And I think that last 4 minutes showed that.